Hello, this is Becca from Willow Hill Designs, and welcome. Today I'll be sharing my little hexagon project that we're doing with Kathryn of Kathryn Cloth Tales, and I believe this is week 26, and it's where we make a little hexagon with a hexagon for the top, and then some batting, and some fabric for the backing, and it's almost like a little quilt in itself. And so these are the fabrics that I have chosen. I chose this green because it makes me think of summer and all the flowers that are out. This is a perfect time of year here. The summer solstice has just begun. And this is the fabric that I used for that. And I just love it. To me, it speaks of summer. And then for the little hexagon, this is a batik fabric. And I thought this might be okay because it's light enough that you'll see the stitching on it, the embroidery or whatever stitches I put on here, but yet it has some kind of interest in it. These are kind of a peachy rose colored little dots and some darker brownish, kind of brownish and purplish dots in there, and I just loved that. I thought that was very pretty. And this was just a little 10-inch square that I had from probably a layer cake, I'm guessing, of fabrics. And I just cut the hexagon right out of that. And I know a lot of people will cut this into strips and then make 2-inch squares or 2.5-inch squares or strips out of this. I never do that. I leave these fabrics intact as much as possible, especially fabrics like this, because I can use this for applique. This could be a leaf. This could be the center of a flower. This could be some foliage or bushes. So I would not cut something like this up. I might cut up a solid or something that has a print that I probably wouldn't use in an applique, but this I would never cut up. Even if I had just 3 inches of it left, I would keep it as is. And then for the circle, for the center part, I chose this fabric, which is kind of a mottled pink and peach and beigey kind of color, and I thought that that might be interesting for the circle. So this is what my little hexagon will look like. This, of course, will be narrower when it wraps around, but this is what it will look like. And I'll be doing the stitching on this circle. And the way that I did this circle was, I know Kathryn talks about the process quite a bit, and I agree with her. It is all about the process and what you enjoy. And I enjoy turning the edges under. So for this circle, I used Karen K. Buckley's Perfect Circles. I have the larger ones as well. And I think I used, let's see, I guess it doesn't really matter. Oh, I guess I used this size here. And what I did was I just copied this on the back of the fabric with a friction pen, and then cut it out, leaving about 1/4 inch or a little larger, as you can see here, seam allowance. And then I just took my sew line glue, which is water soluble. I happen to like the blue, but I don't know about the other colors. And what I just did was take the sew line glue, and I just put it on the seam allowance of this pink fabric. Just put it all along the seam allowance, and then I just folded it over onto this little, this is a Mylar template, so they're heat resistant, and I just went all the way around till I had this little circle attached to this, and then I pressed it with the iron. And I do love to press things because it just makes it so much easier to work with things when they're not crumpled or wrinkled. And so I just pressed this, and then when it cooled, I just took the little Mylar circle out of there. So now this is all set to be appliqued to this little hexagon, and I will stitch through the batting on this, I think. maybe it'll give it a little quilted look. And the threads that I have chosen, these threads are from the Thread Gatherer, and I think this is the Thread Gatherer. I'm pretty sure. Oh no, it says the Gentle Art. Okay, this is a variegated, I think it's a cotton thread, color fast, and it's got browns and greens, and I thought that that might make a nice contrast on here. I don't know, it may be too dark. I'll have to see how it looks, but I was thinking I would use a few strands of that, one or two, probably 2 strands of that. And I thought I also might use some of this ribbon. This ribbon is from the Thread Gatherer, and this is really beautiful, beautiful ribbon. I think this is a 2mm, if I'm not mistaken. So I think I'll probably use a little bit of that on here as well. And I will come back when I have some stitching done and when that's finished. But I do love these little hexagons that Kathryn was talking about, and she spoke about making a table runner. And I thought I would show that I did this same little hexagon for a project. Oh, that's actually attached to that. A little project that I had done for another stitch group online. I don't know if I'm allowed to mention names or not, but these are all individual little hexagons done in the same way that Kathryn was showing with the batting and the backing. This is the backing on these. And all of these are applied to a little piece of a cutter quilt. Oops, sorry. A piece of a cutter quilt, and we needed a piece of an old quilt for this stitching group, and so I ordered this, but when it came to cutting it, I couldn't cut it. Even though it was a cutter quilt, I could not cut into this. Some little person, I'm guessing it was a woman, did such beautiful hand stitching on here, hand quilting, just a beautiful job. And these fabrics are from the 1930s, I'm sure of it. Beautiful feed sack fabrics and others from that era. So I am just honored to have my hexagons on top of her work. And what I did with my hexagons here is not to tessellate them so that they interlock, but to leave a space where there's a diamond in between the rows. And I chose to just put another fabric behind these hexagons, and I just stitched them with the short edge together, going down in rows. And there were 2 prompts per month, so that made 12. You can see the difference. This little hexagon, this one has, I used this template for this hexagon for Kathryn's weekly stitch, and this has a 2-inch side, so this is tiny, and this one is so much bigger, but it gave me the room to do the prompts for this. So these are some of the prompts, of the monthly prompts. One was our initial, so I did that. And I can't remember if this was a saying or something. This is a verse from the Bible that I love. The flowers appear on the earth, and the voice of the turtle, it's turtle dove really, is heard in our land. King James Version is voice of the turtle is heard. And this one was love, and I decided to put 2 little bunnies there. And this was, I think, something that we liked to do. This was a vintage piece of trim for this one here. And then on this side, this one was buttons. There are all little buttons on there. And this one was treasures, I think. Treasures and keepsakes that we all seem to have. And these A lot of these things are from my childhood or from my mom. And this was a favorite fabric that we were to choose, and I love Beatrix Potter, so that was beautiful. And this was a vintage embroidery, and this was an embroidery that I did when I was 10. My mom taught me to embroider when I was 10 years old, and I still have this, and I still have the little metal hoop that it was in. So I thought I would include that on here. And this one was weaving. I think it was weaving. So I just wove some wool threads to make a little stocking there with a kitty in it. And this last one was vintage laces. And I decided to include this cigarette silk. This is the King Victor Emmanuel of Italy. And my grandfather was actually in his honor guard. So this cigarette silk means a lot to me. And so I am just thrilled to have these on this little lady's quilt that I love, this quilt piece. And I didn't want to cut anything off of it, so it still has the scalloped border that she did, and you can see it's been well loved and worn. It's really beautiful. So that's kind of, I know when Kathryn was talking about making a table runner, it made me think of this, and this hangs in my bedroom. We have a rack on the wall with arms that swing out, and I can hang quilts on this rack. So this hangs on that rack, and I absolutely love it. And I love these little, they're like little quiltlets, really, when you think about it, because they stand alone. If you could see the back side, these are all finished on the back. So it's kind of a nice little object that you can use to make, if you wanted to make a large quilt, or just a table topper or a table runner, or something for the end of your bed, or a vessel. You could really do anything. So this is mine, and I will be back when I have this finished. Okay, I'll be back. Well, I finished stitching my little hexagon here, and I put it into my stitch journal. And so basically what I did here was to just do some outline stitching here with that variegated thread, and a few straight stitches with a little tack stitch to make them curve. I didn't want to do an outline stitch because it would be a little bit thicker, and I wanted these little additions to be thinner. And here I used some of that ribbon that I showed just to make some leaves. And then lastly, I added some French knots with some pearl cotton, and finished turning the edges on this. And I didn't really quite know what to write for this one, so I just wrote week 26, a little quiltlet. That's what it makes me think of, a little quilt unto itself. And I just wrote, stitching is good for the soul, and it definitely is. And I put my initials down here. And I chose to put that on this page, even though my last one had this one. This has quite a bit of writing because I had written part of that poem on here. So I knew that the little hexagon wouldn't cover all of that writing. So I thought the next week, week 27, I'll put this, hopefully it'll be a bigger little stitch project, and I thought I'll put it on this side. So I skipped a page there and put this one here. So that is it, it's finished. And I'll just say thank you for joining me today. Here's a close-up of it. Hopefully I'm not moving all over the place. And thank you for joining me, and wishing you many blessings. Bye for now.